Radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Good evening. How you doing? Fade to Black. Yeah, today is Wednesday, January 8th, 2025. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Wow. Yeah. All right. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy 24 hours. And normally I'm all upbeat. Let's do this, man. It's Fade to Black. Excited to be here. And I am. It's an honor and a privilege to be here every night with everybody. We've had 24 hours of fires. I've got a bunch of updates that I'm going to go through with everybody. Devastating news for friends and family and everything else. I will go through that. Last night we had Jason quit on the show, or 2 nights ago. Last night, no show due to the fires, internet power, and my guest was feeling a little under the weather, and we could have done the show, but it just became an impossibility. Plus, to be honest with everybody, I really need to stay alert with everything that is going on around here. I couldn't be distracted for a couple of hours doing this and then have something happen here because it was happening everywhere last night. And I, just like everybody else here in Southern California and across the country, were glued to the TV sets watching the news and watching the live news feed that was going on. And we needed to do that here in Southern California. Everybody is watching because of the breaking news and what was happening. And continues to happen right now. And it's happening in real time around my home. Now, Whitley Strieber lives on the fire line there in Santa Monica in the Pacific Palisades. And I was very concerned about Whitley. I know where he lives. And I contacted him first thing this morning. And I said, are you safe? Are you cool? If you need to cancel for tonight, I understand. I want you to be safe. And he texted me back and said that he had evacuated last night, and understandably so, and was in a safe location in the south of California, and that he would be here tonight for the show. Whitley is not here right now, and I have not heard from him. This is all very concerning. I hope that Whitley's safe, but I'm hoping that it's not something else that could be going on. So if Whitley manages to pop in, I'll bring him on to the show immediately. All right. Now, a couple of things that I want to let everybody know. I'm going to lead with this. This afternoon, I got a text from my power company, also with a news alert that also happened about a fire that had broken out. It's called the Lydia Fire, just a few miles from my home and in Acton. And so I'm reading this, and it was an alert that they may cut off the power, that my address, that's what it said, my address was directly over a power cable for Acton and may be disrupted tonight for about 8 hours. And so I got that. I'm thinking, Acton, that's where Janet lives. And everybody knows Janet. And Janet, of course, is in the chat room, very close friend of mine. And I'm going to say a fader nut for sure. But it's been to my house many times, and we go out to dinner a lot. And she's just a great friend of mine, amazing person. And I was like, Acton is this big, everybody. I don't know what the population of Acton is, but it's a couple of miles from my house. It's the last thing before you cross the hill into Palmdale, right? So the last exit before Palmdale is Acton, and then the next exit is Palmdale when you go over the hill, and the next exit after that is mine, just to put you in some type of perspective. She lives about 5 to 10 minutes away. And so I texted her and I said, "Are you safe? Are you okay? I just got this alert, Acton, what's going on?" I don't hear back from her. About 30 minutes later, maybe 45 minutes later, she calls. She lost her house. That's right. And she said, and thank God she's safe and her daughter's safe. She felt compelled to go to her house, and she works. That's a whole nother situation. She works miles away. Anyway, so she goes to her house with her daughter, and there's smoke, and she gets up to the house, and she gets inside, and she's wondering about things, and the smoke was there. Her phone rings. It's her neighbor, and her neighbor says, "The back of your house is on fire." And she goes and looks out the back window, and she said, "Jimmy, the flames were in my backyard." And I turned around. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my dogs. I got my dogs in the car. I grabbed what papers that I could. She said, but at that point, I couldn't even see. And her and her daughter get out of the house with a handful of papers and the clothes on their back. And that was it. And got out of there. She said by the time she got to the bottom of the hill. Okay, so enough of that. So Janet, and Janet's in the chat room all the time. You guys all know Janet. And a couple of days ago, she posted this wonderful picture of herself wearing a faded black T-shirt that she just cut the neck out of. She was so proud of it. She said, "I finally cut up this shirt. It fits great." And then she called me yesterday and said, tomorrow, which is today, I'm going to do a rain dance. I'm going to go out. We've got it. And she had told me today, she said, I had the most foreboding feeling about all of it. And I'm listening to her. This is just a few hours ago, everybody. I'm listening to her. I'm in shock. I don't know what to say. I got, and Janet was very composed. She's a strong woman, a very strong woman. Very composed. And she goes, I want to cry, but I can't. Everybody's going through this. And that's wow. She's just very strong. And I'm heartbroken, and listening to what she had to say to me echoed what you're hearing over and over and over again on the news. So many thousands and thousands of people have lost everything. And it's only happened to me once during the earthquake. I lost everything and had to start over in 1994. Lost everything. I mean, everything. And you can't just sit and cry and go, "Oh, woe is me." You can't do that. Everybody's going through the same thing. So she's strong, and to hear her say that was just it's just sad, the empathy that I feel. So there's that. All right. And Janet, I doubt that you're listening right now. You've got other things to do, but Janet, our thoughts and prayers and all of the Fadernauts are with you. And again, like I told you earlier today, you need anything, you call me. Okay. All right. So there's that. And there's much more. Now that fire is out of control. It's next to my house. I've also been notified by Southern California Edison that they may cut my power tonight. So, yeah, I've got all my spare batteries charged up. I've got my USB ready to go. My Jeep is packed. I've got my bug out bag. I've got all my papers collected. I've got all of that. I don't think it's going to come to that, but now with everything else, you just don't know. So if the power goes out tonight, or if I just disappear, you know what's going on at Southern California Edison cutting the power, and hopefully it's not something more tragic. Okay, so let's talk about the fires. Pacific Palisades, which Whitley Strieber lives next to. When I say next to, he's on the border there. One of the most beautiful places in the entire country. And whenever you go through there, and there's an interesting part of Pacific Palisades, and everybody knows it that's been there or from Southern California. But when you're going to PCH and you hit Sunset Boulevard, there's a 76 gas station there on the corner. Sunset Boulevard from Hollywood comes down and ends at PCH. Gladstone's restaurant is there, and Gelson's Market, and there's a few other things, but everybody knows that intersection. You know, you're coming into the Palisades when you see that 76 and Gelson's and Gladstone's, and then that community rolls out there. It's a little village, but it's picturesque. It's beautiful postcard stuff, and yeah, that's, you know, if you can do it. I think Adam Apollo just bought a house there. Yeah. I haven't spoken to Adam. I was just reminding myself of that right now. Wow. Yeah. I got to call Adam. So anyway, and you roll into Pacific Palisades, and you just can't help but think to yourself, it doesn't get any better than this. This is what life is all about. I would like to own a house here. I would love to raise a family here. But the school, that entire community has been reduced to ashes. And I'm blown away. Now, we watched all of that go down last night live, and watching the heroic people that are out there, the firefighters, the first responders, everybody on the front lines, in that firestorm, and the news people that are there bringing us those images, and the camera people that are bringing us those images. It was horrifying. It was apocalyptic, and to watch all of that, and you just knew that when the sun comes up, this was going to be bad. And sure enough, and it's not over. It's still burning. It's still not contained. It's unbelievable. And then, so with all of that going on last night, the Eaton Canyon fire broke out. All right. This is my neighborhood. And when I first moved to California, this is where I moved to. There's particulates in the air. There's stuff. I can taste it now. It's like really weird. But no smudge, something else. But anyway, so that's where I moved to. I moved to North Lake Avenue in Altadena, on the edge of Pasadena and Altadena. If you know that area between Washington Street and New York and Michelenda, right there, I lived on Lake Avenue, and I've got a zillion friends that made my house their home and stuff. And so that's it. And so I grew up. I was 20 years old when I moved into that house, and I lived there for probably 7 years. And so all of my friends that I made, all of my new friends in Southern California, were from Pasadena, Altadena, Sierra Madre, that entire area. And that was my circle of friends. Now, that circle of friends grew up. Some of them still lived with their parents. grew up there, and I visited all of their homes. I knew all their parents. Everybody knew me, and it's a very small community. This Altadena, Pasadena, Sierra Madre situation. Anyway, today that fire spread from Eaton Canyon south and then west, all the way through Sierra Madre, which is this big, little, tiny, beautiful town, through Sierra Madre, through Altadena, over to Pasadena, and burned everything. And I believe, including the house that I'm referring to that I moved into. I was watching a live news report today going down Lake Avenue, crossing Michelenda, which is the corner that I lived on, and everything burning, the shopping centers, houses on both sides of the road. I didn't see the house I grew up in there. They were showing the other side of they were going both sides. And I'm just thinking, how is this possible? This is, anyway. All right. I continue. Today on Facebook, I'm watching friend after friend. I'm talking about friends that I've known for 40 years. Friend after friend. Parents of my friends. We're all friends on Facebook. And we all stay in touch to this day, by the way. Posting where their house used to be. And I am just so devastated. The streets, the blocks, the things, and I mean, and to have, to think of the parties, the get-togethers, the birthdays, whatever, the celebrations we had with a group of friends around Lisa Manukian's backyard or whatever, house after house up there, including my own. That group of friends, that 50, 75 of us, that family, tight family that we had, my band, everything, all of those people posted today. All of them. And it's just ripped me out. I posted earlier, I'm not in a comedy mood. I'm not in a humor mood. Tonight's the night not to test me. I can tell you that. I'm not here for humor or for conspiracy theories or for this or for that. Now is not the time. But then one of our very own, fate or not, Corby Waste. Everybody knows Corby. Corby lost his house. And Corby, who everybody here knows, and he's been to all of our events. He's done artwork. He's an artist for NASA, artwork for me, artwork for Fade to Black. When I send out those autographed cards with T-shirts and stuff, and that's Corby's artwork that he did for us. He put my name on the Mars lander, right? Corby lost his house, and he posted last night that he had evacuated, that the fire was going in that direction, but he was just hoping that today he would wake up and everything would be just fine. And then he posted a video a couple hours ago of the empty lot of where his house was. And I'm exhausted. My heart, and I just think about everything that is going on here in Southern California. One of the problems that we all witnessed because of this, the amount of resources that were brought in. There's no question here in California, there is absolutely no question that we have the absolute very best battle-tested fire department and resource system in the country, if not the world. We are battling wildfires all year long. We are fires all year long. I've been in the middle. I've been in evacuation zones. I've had my cars packed. I've been through it. I've seen it firsthand. And there's just no question about that. Last night, when we got the windstorm warnings yesterday morning, and knowing how dry it was and everything else, and you're looking at these winds, you're like, man, you know, and it all just unfolded. And I want everybody to understand, don't forget, watch the news, but and the news does their best to present it, and the weather forecasters and everything else. But let me try to explain something that you don't necessarily hear in a correct way. And that is this. I'm north of Los Angeles by about 40 miles, 45 miles. There's a canyon in front of me and mountains, and then another set of mountains. The winds, I'm at the edge of the Mojave Desert. So the winds come across a hot desert, and if there isn't anything in front of it, a low pressure, high pressure, if there isn't anything there, they just come through. Call the Santa Anas. You can call them anything you want. And that part doesn't matter. But it gets funneled and compressed, and just by the time it gets over the hills, it's ripping fast. And then it goes over the second set of mountains where the Palisades are. And by the time it gets there, that wind is no longer just a pure stream going. It's just like, and it's from every direction. And when you're a firefighter, or anybody trying to deal with that, on the other side, you're blown from the front, from the back, from the side, sometimes all at the same time. And so there's no direction to the fire. There isn't. And so when that's happening, like what we saw last night in the Palisades, that fire spread in every direction uncontrollably all at the same time. You saw the seas of embers blowing, just like river, like lava, and that there's nothing you can do about that, and the firefighters to go into the middle of that, one is trying to make sure everybody was evacuated. It's about saving lives at that point. It's not about, putting out fires, which is there too as well, of course. But that's got to be a huge fear for any firefighter to be in that kind of situation. And it went down and continues to go down tonight. Now, so just so you understand, all of the resources that were poured into there in a normal situation where the winds weren't that extreme and you can kind of get ahead of it, where the fire is going, you can have a game plan, but there is no game plan for what happened last time. There's nothing, and I've got to say our first responders and the fire department and the police and everybody else last night, they did the best that they could. And all the rumors about low water pressure, this and that, save all that. That's none of that matters at this point. And I don't think all the water in the world, anything else could have stopped what happened and continues to happen. But at the same time that was going on, the Eaton fire broke out. And I'm watching this on TV just like everybody else. And I've got my iPad open over here to breaking news. I've got an iPad in front of me on breaking news. I've got my TV in front of me. I've got my phone, and I've got everything happening at the same time. And then boom, there it is. Mount Wilson, which is the big communication hub here. At the top of Mount Wilson are all the antennas and dishes for communications and TV and radio, satellite dishes, and lots of cameras up there. They show it all the time, the Mount Wilson weather cam. And they show this spot, and I don't know if you caught this on national TV, but certainly here it was breaking news, and they showed it. There was a tree, and in front of the tree was a little bit of light. It's right there at the top of Mount Wilson, the top of the mountain. All right. In a matter of minutes, that fire came down the mountain and poured into Eaton Canyon and spread out. And watching the wind and the embers and the fire and how quickly everybody was just completely overwhelmed. I watched in real time last night. I don't know if you caught it. I saw the evacuation of that elderly care center, and to see 92 people in wheelchairs being loaded into any vehicle in the middle of the fire, the embers blowing, the fires are burning on the sides of the streets. They were loading wheelchairs into SWAT trucks, any vehicle that they could get people in. I'm watching them, just like, what is this? Is insanity. It's in just to watch that fire roll into, and you would think, now you need to understand what part of and what the cityscape looks like here. That part of Southern California, which is Arcadia, Monrovia, Sierra Madre, Altadena, Pasadena. The next city over is Glendale. The next city over from that is Burbank. All right. And that's the corridor that's right there. Below that, San Marino, Temple City, South Pasadena. But this is a very populated, very organized, very beautiful part of Los Angeles. And it's a city. Now, I just named all these towns, but they're just divided by streets. Okay. So Sierra Madre might as well be Pasadena. It might as well be Altadena. Altadena might as well be Pasadena. They're just divided by streets. But to see the fire come, because when you are in Sierra Madre, right, and you're at the movie theater there, this is where the Rose Parade starts. Sierra Madre Boulevard, right there. Rosemead, Sierra Madre Villa. I worked on that street, Sierra Madre Villa, man. That was one of the evacuation zones last night. It's still unbelievable to me. But this is a city. You have shopping centers and movie theaters and restaurants, and it's a city. You don't expect this to roll down out of the hills and then just burn everything as far as the eye can see. And it happened in my hometown. I'm blown away. So then, while all of that was going on, Sylmar caught on fire, still on fire. It's called the Hearst Fire. And lived in Sylmar for a long time. And for those of you that know, you've been to my house there. All right. So I've been through a few fires in Sylmar. And but anyway, Sylmar, where I live now in Palmdale, there's a freeway called the 14. This is Acton, where the fire just happened, where Janet lives. That's on the 14 freeway. But that goes south into LA, attaches to the 5, and then you're there. You're in the valley in Los Angeles. That's where the fire was. And the 14 freeway is really the only way in and out south down into Los Angeles. That fire kicks off. And it was a big one. And they're talking about that. It's like, what is happening here? So while that is kicking off and the mandatory evacuations are happening, today I wake up and then there's a fire that starts in Van Nuys, in the Sepulveda Basin. By the way, next to Coast AM. All right. Just north of Sherman Oaks. And where this fire broke out, it's called the Woodley Fire. Woodley's the street that goes down all the way through and crosses Burbank Boulevard there. From Burbank Boulevard, you can see the Coast to Coast building. It's right there. That's Sherman Oaks. And that fire kicked off 30 acres. They contained that. Still burning, but I think they said it was 25% contained up until showtime. And that is in the middle of the valley. So, yes, tonight, the Lydia fire, and now the fire in the middle of Hollywood, which is right next to the Hollywood Bowl. They're calling that the Sunset Fire. That's at Runyon Canyon. And now I posted in the chat that it's going to be another long night, and it is. The wind is here, extremely dry conditions. We've got embers that are blowing around for miles that can start fires anywhere right now. And that is the scary part. There were reports today of a fire out in Coachella, which is near Joshua Tree. So you have that, but it's just going to be another long night, and I just can't wrap my head around the apocalyptic feeling that I have when it hits that close to home with so many of my friends and people that I've known for so many years losing their homes. It's exhausting to me. I am spent. I have been on the phone all day today. Nothing but updates going off on my phone with all of the wildfires. Checking in and trying to tell everybody I'm safe. But I can't. I say that because I am right now. I was just listening to a news reporter from NBC right before the show when the Sunset Fire broke out, and he was saying, "That's where I live." And that's it. I'm here. My family's there. We're in the middle of Hollywood. And he had said, now I want to say something about the Hollywood fire really quick, because he said something very interesting. Everybody that lives up there, and that includes Laurel Canyon and Lookout Mountain and Outpost Road, you go up there and there are fire truck signs on the streets, because the streets are very narrow. In most cases, you can't really park, but to drive past another car, you have to pull over to let the car pass, right? But if there's fire trucks, so on certain days, you can only drive one way. And and they've been up there for probably 100 years, these signs. They have these little red triangle arrows telling you on what day, which direction you can drive for the fire trucks. Everybody up there is very aware of this possibility, because you cannot help if you're from out of town, looking at the Hollywood Hills and looking at the tens of thousands of homes that are packed on those little streets with those stilts. And you always think of earthquakes. Man, what happens if you have an earthquake, man? Isn't all this stuff falling down? They're packed in there amongst trees and growth, and you see the dry brush, and you cannot help. I'm telling you, any sane person thinks the same thought. One match, and this all goes. Not a little bit. This Hollywood, from the Pacific Ocean to the Hollywood Bowl, poof, you can see it. You can just see it, and that's what happened in the Palisades. The growth on the sides of these hills, which goes on forever, some of it, you'll see the green on the top, you'll see the tree. Underneath that is dry, old growth that hasn't been cleaned in 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 years. It's just sitting there, just waiting to go. Now, I hope, if there's a silver lining in any of this with the Palisades fire, that the county of Los Angeles And the state of California takes this all very, 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 very seriously. We've got fire trails, we've got fire crews, and they go out, and yes, we see them all the time, working on the fire roads and stuff. But that stuff has got to get cleaned out. Running Canyon, watching that fire. Now that the fire was first spotted at about 6:30 tonight, something like that. I've got all the news alerts going off. There happened to be a news helicopter flying in the corridor right there by the Hollywood Bowl, right there. And we're like, what's that? I was listening to it. We think and they broke into the press conference with Mayor Ball of Los Angeles. We've been waiting for this press conference. She was out of the country. Press conference is finally happening. They had to break into that press conference for this. And they were like, it's pretty bright. That's and 30 minutes, man. Went straight through Runyon Canyon. Curson. You just think about Franklin Avenue and where the Hollywood Bowl is, and Crescent Heights and La Brea Terrace, all those little streets right there. I lived right there. That all of those homes, and so they're showing the flames, and you can see the row of houses. This is close up. This is not distance. This is the houses are right there, and these are beautiful homes, but they're right on the edge. I'm thinking this is crazy. This is the middle of Hollywood. This isn't like down the street. This isn't it. No, this is smack dab in the middle of Hollywood. It's like 3 blocks from the Jimmy Kimmel Show, the Hollywood Wax Museum, the Chinese Theater, that's where this is, Runyon Canyon. And you're just, so yeah. And this is, it's going to be another night. It's going to be another long night. So, Whitley's not here. That's my rundown. I did want to go through all of that so everybody could kind of understand where my head is at. I did go out, and let me say this. I got the notice from Southern California Edison. I'm like, man, power outage, 8 hours. Okay, so I made it to the grocery store. I bought a bunch of iced coffee in the bottle, just in case. Got to have that. Can't run out of that. And I bought a bunch of stuff that I could just eat, that in case I couldn't cook. And kind of came home and prepped myself for this. I'm just thinking, it's like, I've got emergency food in my Jeep. I've got a backpack in my Jeep. I've got a couple guitars in my Jeep. This is where it's at right now. And I pray that nothing happens in my town. I don't want it to get any worse for anybody else. Right now, there are homes burning that a family lived in, and they've lost everything. My friend Janet tonight is sitting there with her daughter, knowing that they just lost everything, and now, and I'm going to go on the show tonight with Whitley Strieber and talk about UFOs. I just don't think I don't feel right about that. It's not where I'm at now. I would do it because it's Whitley, and I would kind of like to get my mind off of things. But then the other part is why there's other things that are more important than doing Fade to Black. And then there's the other part, and that is the audience that is here with me every night. And I'm not coming on the air, and it's in the middle of these fires. I'm sure some of you are wondering if I'm okay. There's that. But the other part is you guys should really know what's going on, and certainly my take on it, and what what I am witnessing and going through. There's that. And here's the other part. All of the news broadcasters here in Southern California, I watched a guy yesterday on KCAL 5, KTLA, Channel 5. He was on the air for 20 hours in the fire. You can see his eyes were red. He's just covered and out there. And I'm thinking to myself, and what, I can't go into my studio and go on air because I feel funky. Who am I? I can't. That's way too self-serving. So no, the fate or not, you guys deserve that. And so yeah, we were gonna have a show tonight no matter what. But I just wanted to let all of you know exactly what my last 24 hours were like. You can tell I've blown my throat out. I did that yesterday, and I've been on the phone all day today, all day yesterday, going through all of this. So yesterday, I can show you the text. Yesterday at 4:30, I'm thinking. Let me get down here and get to it. Where's it at? Race Hobbs. Race Hobbs texted me yesterday at 4:54 a.m. Okay? And he says, 4:54 a.m. Got some high winds coming your way today, brother. Okay? I texted him yesterday at 10:43 a.m. Yes, it's blowing pretty good. Supposed to be 60 miles per hour today. Rumors of 80. Crazy. 15 minutes before that, the Palisades fire broke out. All right. So after I texted Race, I got the news alert about the Palisades fire, which at that time was only like 20 acres. But it was like a half hour later, it was 200 acres. And shortly after that, and by the time I got on the news yesterday, which was at 1 p.m., the Palisades fire was still reported at 200 acres. And I just talked about the high winds yesterday because I didn't want to jinx. I didn't want to vex. I didn't want to mess with everything here by talking about, oh man, there's a fire possible. I didn't want to do that. After I got off the news yesterday, just everything broke loose. It was crazy. It was absolutely nuts. So, all right. Whitley's still not here. I hope he's okay. I'm not going to text him, not going to bother him. He's a professional. He knows, he's supposed to be here. And if he's not here, then there's something else going on. Whitley's one of my best friends. I'm just going to let that one go. I trust Whitley. All right. So with that, somebody sent $100. Wes Decker. Thank you, Wes. I know it's not much, but please use this to help. Janet. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I will do that. Thank you. Thank you for that, Wes. Let's just turn this into a little bit of an AMA. I'll go for as long as I can. Hopefully the power will stay on, and I'll try to answer all of your questions moving on from here on out. Post your questions in all caps if you can. Yeah. Yes, Jimmy, talk it out. Your followers. Okay, hold on. Let me get this up here. Talk it out. Your followers may need to hear local sympathetic voices from friends experiencing the same stuff. You're absolutely right. That's from Jan. There are so many friends of mine that are very close to me that I've talked about on this show over the years. I'm not going to say their names now. It would be appropriate, but I've told all those stories, and I've said those names, and these are, I'm talking about my family, man. This was we were so tight. We're 20 years old, and 21. I'm 61. That's 40 years ago. And those bonds never go away. When Facebook kicked off in the mid 2000s or whenever that happened, that was one of the cool things about Facebook is that group of friends, we all were able to just reconnect, and we've stayed connected ever since. And being able to not only Fade to Black, but Coast to Coast, which is a big show here in Southern California, to have those friends reach out to me and go, man, heard you, man, this is great, man, proud of you, right? Okay. And so I would turn around and I would tell stories on the air about my friends, knowing that somebody's going to hear something and they're going to pick up the phone and go, dude, Church was talking about you last night. Remember that story, man? When, and I knew that. And yes, all right. Those are the friends that were posting today about losing their houses, their parents' house, the neighborhood that we grew up in. Jamie Hunting, I'll say this, he's a rock star. Jamie Hunting of the Hunting Brothers. Jamie's just a great musician. Jamie and Joey Hunting. I'll just say it now. You can look them up. And the terrorism that we caused as kids. But I always looked up to those two because I knew that they were going to be rock stars, went on to play with David Lee Roth and all of that stuff. But anyway, we just were tight. And I saw Jamie. Oh man, that was a couple of years ago at the NAMM show. And he follows Fade to Black and I follow what he's doing and stuff. But he's just somebody that not only in our circle, but somebody that I really looked up to. I still do and admire. Just a talented musician, just a world-class rock star. Watch his post today. Here's our neighborhood. And I couldn't help it. Dave Null, man, just crushed. Looking at that and just going back and just thinking about our friendship and the way we looked at everything with the memories that we have, and my response was, our neighborhood is gone. Our memories, this is just it. I'm devastated. And I'm devastated. It's the families, it's the memories, it's our history and everything else. Michael Dane says, Jimmy, if someone needs help, where do they go? Yes, that's a good community message. Thank you for that. If somebody does need help, we do have in the Pasadena area, the Pasadena Convention Center and Conference Center is open. That is on Green Street in downtown Pasadena. It's full too, by the way. I was just watching. We have, if you have animals, you have Pierce College that you can go to. You can go to the Equestrian Center in Burbank with horses and animals. Now, any of the there's I can't remember the name of the church. It just escapes me right now. Is open in Pasadena too as well. But the biggest places right now, if you need to go somewhere, is the Pasadena Convention Center in downtown Pasadena. Red Cross is there, and they're fully stocked with everything that anybody would need right there. Yeah, there are reports that most of the hotels are full, and understandably so. We're talking about just in the Pacific Palisades, 35,000 people that are evacuated. Some are going to go stay with friends or family. Most are going to check into hotels. How many hotel rooms are available, in Santa Monica, in that area that is outside of the evacuation zone? And the same thing in Pasadena. It's a large evacuation. Same thing in Silmar too, as well. So, yeah. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Did Joe Bonamesa get guitars out of Laurel Canyon? I don't know about that, but let me say this. To me, a movie star and somebody that is not a movie star, I don't care what your job is, or an entertainer or music, same person. I don't put any more value into somebody that, because in the Pacific Palisades and its location of where it's at, there's a lot of people, a lot of entertainers that live there. A lot. I know, been there. Been in their houses. That stuff is gone. And but yeah. So I'm not gonna sit here and name some movie star and isn't it. No. Everybody lost the business owners and everything. No, it's all the same to me. And so today, there's something in the air. I'm just telling you. I have a lot of stuff. Look around. And I don't give a shit. I don't. I took 2 guitars. Two. I took 2 and put them in. And I looked around here and it was like, do I really care? But yes, they're nice. It's fucking wood. Whatever. There are people really suffering right now, and I don't care. Man, my passport, my passwords, my birth certificate, the photo albums of my daughter, right, with real photographs in it. Got those. Some clothes, passwords, papers, stuff like that. I didn't even look at it. I just into a plastic tub and threw it in there, with food and other stuff and a case of water. And these are things, everybody, that I'm blessed to happen to have. Not everybody can just go and grab a case of water and throw it into. Some people don't have that sitting in their garage. Emergency food. Man, I'm blessed that I can just grab something like that and throw it in the Jeep. Yeah, I've got batteries. I've got a battery powered thing. I've got solar panel. It's all. What do I need? I don't know. But I certainly, if I've got to just jump and run, yeah, yeah, right. But I wasn't going to sit here and pack a bunch of guitar. What good is a bunch of these going to do me out there in the wasteland of the apocalypse? Not going to do anything. No value, it's the other stuff, it's the memories, hard drives. I have, thankfully, all of my images and all of that. Those are all backed up on little drives. And so what was funny, I'll say this, when I have backups of all of my computers, recent backups. Those and all of my images and all of the videos, all of the show archives, all of that, everything that I've collected all of that is digital. And it's in a little box this big. It's like 20 drives in there. Everything. I'm not grabbing computers. Who cares? So yeah, everything's backed up. I've got all that stuff. What else do I need to put in there? A carton of cigarettes? Yeah, there's probably some value to that. But yeah, And that's where we're at right now in Southern California. I can say this. I don't care where you live. I don't let this just be a reminder to everybody, no matter where you live. You could have tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, whatever the natural disaster of your choice, tsunami, whatever it is. Something can happen in a split second. And you should, just in the back of your mind, just be ready, man. Not with your car packed, but your papers, man, put those all together. In what papers are important to you? What do you need? Your birth certificate, your passport, your driver's license. Really? That's all you need, right? But if there's anything beyond that, I don't know, insurance, what, stock certificates, is that going to mean something to you? I don't know. But whatever that is, get that in a certain spot and put it there. Your photographs, put it there. Back up your shit. Digitize all your photographs. All of that's just get it on a hard drive. Let's get it on a little SSD. Pack that thing full. You can't fill up a 2 terabyte drive no matter what you want to do. But go and get 3 or 4 of them and fill them up. That's what I did. Right? And so I'm good to go. I'm also blessed. I have got 3 cell phones. Okay? I do. I have 3 cell phones, 3 different carriers, 3 different phone numbers, all new iPhones, all are backed up. They are all identical. I have backup keys to everything. Yeah, I have backup keys. And so why is that important? Today, let me tell you why that's important. Today on the news, live on TV, they got a guy packing a car, evacuating. I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you did. He's packing his car, right? Smart. He's getting out. And they go back up to him and they said, why haven't you left? He goes, I can't find my car keys. Can't find your car keys? No, maybe he packed them in a suitcase. Now you got to go through everything. The fire's coming down the hill, right? Neighbor's house is on fire, literally in this shot. And he can't find his car keys. Dude, always have a spare. Yeah, okay, so you misplaced the ones in your pocket. You set them down somewhere. House is burning down. It could be anywhere. Where's your backup set of keys? Well, always know where that is. You know, hopefully with an Apple AirTag on them like I've got. Yeah. Yeah. That's why you do that kind of stuff. You lose your cell phone. You know what, man? I got a backup. Mine stay charged when people come over to my house. People come over in my kitchen. Anybody that has been to my house, you can ask them this. In my kitchen, sitting on the countertop, are 2 iPhones on charge. They're always charged. They're always on. Well, they're not always on. I turn them on, but they're always backing up. And they're backing up my other cell phone that is always, you know. And now, if I lose this, I've got those. If I lose one, I've got another. But they're always there, and I know exactly where they are at. That's some peace of mind. Not everybody can afford to do that. I get that. But if you've got an old cell phone, man, make sure that thing is charged. It can always get on your Wi-Fi network. Okay? And so you don't have to have the phone activated, but it can get on your Wi-Fi network and you can access things. So don't forget about that, you know, which includes things like email if you have to. So if you've got a spare cell phone, that's one of the things. An older cell phone, keep that thing at the ready. Keep it charged. You never know when you may need to access that. So just something to consider. All All right. Whitley is still a no-show tonight. So I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back. And like I said, we'll do an AMA. I'll answer your questions. Let me scroll down here and see. I packed a bottle of scotch. That's smart. I didn't. Which two guitars are in the Jeep? That's for me to know. One's a Les Paul. Oh, I'll say that. One's a Les Paul. Yeah. All right. That's from Jonaside. Jonaside, you're too funny. I'm going to take a quick break. This is Fade to Black. The show must go on. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black T-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 T-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black T-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut.
Today we're headed to Bolivia, Tiwanaku, Peru, and of course, Pumapunku. Brian, exciting. Thank you so much for everything, my friend.
Always an honor. Right behind us is the sacred river of the Inca that goes past Machu Picchu. So we're going to be driving up to its source at 15,000 feet above sea level and then down to Lake Titicaca.
So today we hit 15,000 feet.
Yes.
Crazy. And you can do it with us. All you have to do is go to hiddenincatours.com. Simple. We've got 2 tours coming up next year, one in June for the summer solstice, right? And then another one right here in November. So hiddenincatours.com. Come and hang out with Brian and I and his amazing team.
Right on.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com.
All right. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Yeah. Today's Wednesday, January 8th. It has been an insane 24 hours here in Southern California. I think that most of the country has been watching this. I've been getting text and stuff from people around the country checking in and saying that they are watching this. And last night I was watching how do I say this? The national news last night. I had every news stream on that I could do last night all at the same time. And yeah, so the national news was broadcasting this. So yeah, I think everybody is pretty aware by now about what is going on. Whitley Strieber was supposed to be with us tonight. I reached out to Whitley this morning. We had this show set up for a couple of weeks, and Whitley, who lives very close to the Pacific Palisades, evacuated last night, and so he said that he was in a safe place today. He'd be on the show tonight, no problem. I said, if you want to cancel, I understand. And he said, no, it's all good. Okay, I'll be there. And he said these are very important days. So anyway, Whitley did not show up for sound check. He is a professional, and the relationship that I have with Whitley is one thing, but it's also that I know how much of a professional he is. And if he's not here for sound check, that's it. I'm just going to let that go. There's too much going on right now here in Southern California to be even remotely concerned with getting somebody on this show tonight. So Whitley, of course, we all hope that you're okay and everything is fine. But if he is not here, then we got to choose to let that go. Okay, now post your questions. This is now an AMA. So post your questions, and I'm going to say this, and we can kind of get a two-way conversation going with everybody. Are you prepared? I mean, seriously, have you, with all of the hurricanes, tornadoes, right? Sinkholes, I don't care. Just with all of the stuff that has been going on around the country and around the world, is that enough for you to get off of your lazy ass and make sure that you're ready to go? You know, are you? And it's easy to say, yeah, well, you know, I know where my stuff is. And if I've got it, no, it doesn't happen like that. Janet pulled up to her house, walked in, and the phone rang. That's how long she had. So, yeah. Don't think that you're ever ready, because you're not. It was probably, I'm going to say 5 or 6 years ago, went through a fire, and Gail Thackeray, you guys know Gail. She has a big ranch up on the top of the mountain behind our house. And that fire rolled through and burnt down her house and everything. And we were at the bottom of the hill. This is with Rita. And the evacuation orders, now it was a half a block. When I say a half a block, I don't even think it was that far. It was like 100 yards. Evacuation zone there, a block to the north, evacuation zone, and like 2 blocks that way. And we're watching, you can just see the fire. And I guess that was the Woolsey fire. And we watched it burn down, go across the valley, all the way over around the valley, up over the hill, down into Malibu. And the whole thing it didn't take long. It took like an hour, hour and a half. Anyway, dogs were in the car. Bags were packed. And we probably had 2 or 3 hours to prepare, and that was too long. We got everything together and stuff. Man, I even think at one point the engine was running. Dogs were in. I mean, it was like that. And we were ready to go. if we had to get out of there like stat, like Janet today, what do you got your dogs and your driver's license? You know, what's important is your dogs and your family. I mean, that's your family, then your dogs. Yeah. So are you ready? Are you ready? Are you truly ready? It's really, and you don't have to be ready, but at least get that stuff ready to go if you've got to go and grab it in a split second. What if you come home and you didn't clean the vent on your dryer and you had your laundry drying while you went up to the store to go get a frozen pizza, and you come back and your house is on fire? What are you going to grab? You know, I was watching Image's video, like all of us were over the last 24 hours. See a person standing in the street with a couple of paintings, right, holding them, and had some paperwork in the, and in the background is a house that's on fire that he just came out of. And he's standing there and talking to a couple of firefighters trying to get a ride down off the hill, right? That's all the time was, you know? Okay, what's this here? Annette, thank you for that. Very cool. Thank you, Annette. Very cool of you. All right, let's see here. Jack the Lad, which of your upcoming events or trips in 2025 are you most looking forward to? They're all the same. They're all the same. They're all the same. Every one of them. Contact in the Desert, the Expo at Delavan Lake, man, Sedona, Rise of the Guardians, Conscious Life Expo, Peru. And these are just, yeah, they're all the same. They're all amazing. They're all amazing. Nah, they're all the same. I know it's not a cop out either. It's crazy that I'm in a position to go and do this kind of stuff. So, yeah, you know, Brian Forrester wrote me yesterday and said, I should read you the email. He said, so Jimmy, in November, is there any special place you would like to go to? And I'm looking at that email and I'm thinking, how in the hell did I get here? That Brian Forrester is going to write me an email and go, hey, anything special you want me to take you to? How amazing is that? So I wrote him back and said, Brian, give me a couple of days. Give me a couple of days on this one. Now, obviously, the world was tipped upside down in the last 24 hours. But yeah. So that could tip the scales on what may be special coming up there, Jack the Lad. I'm going to jump into that here pretty soon. Phil the Stalker, what are your long-term and short-term goals? You know, we should always be thinking about that, shouldn't we? All right. It's a great question. And the way that I'm going to answer it, it's going to seem like this was planted. Like I told Phil to ask me this question. Man, I've got a dusty keyboard. All right. I have written out. Well, yeah. It's not scripted, but the way that it's coming out, it's kind of turning into scripted. I'm going to start another podcast that is going to be inside of the other podcast. You don't have to subscribe to it or anything. So it's going to be in our podcast feed. It's going to head out onto all of the other platforms, Spotify and everything. And it's going to be no video. Okay, it's just going to be me speaking NPR style. And I'm working on a couple of names for it. I've got a couple of ideas. They're both kind of the same thing. But it's going to be inside. So I've got the first 4 episodes are already planned out. And so that's a short-term goal. Now it's going to be an ongoing thing. I would like to do it once a week, maybe twice a week. It's going to be pretty long. It's going to be between an hour and 90 minutes, all spoken word, obviously no commercials. And I might even put some cool music and some sound effects in it, and some spots. I'm thinking about that too as well. But so about what I've learned and what I think is important for you to know. So that's the overarching idea behind this. What I've learned, and out of what I've learned, what is important, what is most important out of that mess that I think you should know. And I'm going to go in depth with that. Now, it could be anything. It could be something that deals with science. Maybe it's ET. Maybe it's ancient history. Maybe it's consciousness, our brains, maybe something physical, maybe something non-physical. There are lots of different things out there. So the first four are going to be on four different subjects. As a matter of fact, the first two is going to be a two-parter because it deals with the same subject on two different sides of it. So that's going to be that. And then, so I've got the first four. My long-term goals are, I'm 61 years old. What is important to me now at this point in my life? I don't care what people think about me. I never really did, but I really don't now. And I'm starting to realize how precious time is. And I think that everybody, once they get to a certain point in their life, it's different years for different people. But I would say, around that magical year of 60, you start to realize how precious time is. And I want to balance doing this show and supporting the community and continue to do the journey that I'm on, but also do the things that certainly put a smile on my face. Doing the show puts a smile on my face, but so does hanging out with my daughter. So does riding my Harley. So does visiting cultures around the world. So if there's a way that I can balance the two of them out, that's my long-term goal. So what I'm kind of saying is slowing down what I'm doing without slowing down. All right. And that's, and how to find that balance in life, because I'm at that point. One of the realizations that I had, that's such a great question, Jack, or Phil, thank you for that. Airdropping helicopters going over right now, like a fleet. I don't know if you can hear them. Really loud, by the way. Is this. So I'm watching a TV show, and I think it was Parks and Recreation, which I've seen. All right, I'm binging it again. Just not binging it, but it's something that's one of my fillers. But I love Parks and Recreation. But there's a scene where the mom of what's her name? Not Tina Fey, whatever her name is. What's Parks and Recreation? Let me do this real quick. Parks and Recreation. Let me get this. You can tell that my Amy Poehler. Yeah, Leslie Knope. So Amy Poehler's mom fixes her up on a blind date, and she goes out. It's with this old man. I don't know. Amy Poehler's what in this show? 30, whatever. She says this. my mom fixed me up with a 61-year-old man. No, a 61-year-old old man. And it crushed me, right? Now, let's back up for a second. It's not the 61. I don't look 61. I don't act 61, right? But the way that they portrayed this 61-year-old man in this episode, the guy looked like he was 75 and acted like he was 80. All right. And I didn't dig it. And then I thought to myself, is that the perception that people have of what somebody that is supposed to be, that is 61 years old, supposed to act like, supposed to look like? This character in this show doesn't listen to Dimebag Daryl, right? You know what I mean? And so anyway, I went, I can't be that guy. I need to hang on to what I've got. That's it. I'm not going to grow into that guy. I will never be that guy. And I'm not going to be the perception of what people think I should be at my age. I'm not tapping out. I'm not. And right now I've got a pretty good grip on my health, on my looks, on my attitude, on my life. I'm living my best life. And that's it. I'm not going to be that guy. So my long-term goals, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to turn into that. It's not going to happen. Lightning, Will, I am Robin. I will never read a question like that on the air. It's very close to being banned. You can take that conspiracy shit out of here. All right. Let's see here. Questions in all caps. Man, you guys are busy. You guys are busy in the chat room tonight. Okay. Now, have they evacuated Skunk Works or heard anything about it? Now, I'm going to say this. They will never have to evacuate Skunk Works or Northrop Grumman or NASA or Air Force Plant 42 or Edwards Air Force Base. No. Too well protected. There's nothing. No. Nothing around it can burn. Nothing around it can blow over. Nothing around it can fall down. No. Let's see here. This is long. I hope it's safe. Lost my studio to the Christchurch earthquake. Dogs and wife was all I took. Do you know how Melinda Leslie is? Would love to hear how her investigations are going. Best of luck. I haven't talked to Melinda in about a year. She's always doing good, though. Linda's always got stuff going on. I'll see Linda next month. What's my go-to meal for me to cook these days? That's from Ken Priest. Anything that I can put on my new Stratocaster cutting board, Ken. Go-to meal. You know what I have been doing? Okay, so can I be honest with you? I have been working on my own homemade version of the Taco Bell Taco Supreme and the Taco Bell Mexican pizza. Okay? So, and that goes down to the taco shells, which I've been baking in the oven. That's a whole process frying them as well into shape. So there's that, down to the ground beef or steak, because I've been doing both, and the seasoning that I've been doing myself. I've been taste testing, man. I've got my going to Taco Bell and nibbling and tasting and trying to down to what kind of sour cream, it's the whole thing. So I've been working on that now for about a month and a half, getting pretty close. Yeah, it's been a fun project. Yeah. So I've been doing that. The other thing, okay, so Ken, number 2, I just recently got another iron skillet, which every chef, I'm not a chef. Yeah, I'm a chef. Should have. You need a really good iron skillet. And you need an iron skillet for a lot of different things. All right. But I would say that the main reason you want an iron skillet is that, well, you cook the life out of it, man. Or cook the life into it. There's that part of it. You know, just let those juices just continually soak in. It's so good. Anyway, gas stove, flame on high, and you get that baby red hot. And you can't do this. You can't, I don't care whatever type. No, you cannot do it. I don't care what the cookware is or who you, or how much you paid for it. A cast iron skillet is the only way that you get, and you get that thing red hot. Anyway, and you prep your steak. How your steak is prepped, what temperature it's at. These are all things. What are the spices? How are you going to do it? Brown your butter, all of that stuff, you know, and have that thing hit that skillet. When that skillet, I swear to God, man, is 400 degrees. And it takes years. No chef. It takes a while to perfect that. But I've been really working on that over the last year. And I'm on my second skillet over the last year. So I've been working on that. And also one last thing I'm working on. Check this out, Ken, and for the rest of you foodies out there. And this is an art. This is not easy. Bacon wrapped asparagus. Okay. Got to have the right asparagus, picked at the right time, and all of that. There's that. How many asparagus are you bundling up? What type of bacon are you wrapping? What's the thickness? What's the flavor? Cured, uncured, right? You've got to go through all of these stages. But once you get the bacon wrapped asparagus down, that's all you need with your steak. Bacon wrapped asparagus and your steak, and that's it. You've got your vegetables and you've got your steak. So that's something else, because in that iron skillet, listen to me now. Take notes. In that iron skillet, before you put your butter in, that thing's red hot. Your bacon wrapped asparagus gets cooked first. And sometimes I do 2 at a time. I'll eat one later. Sometimes I'll eat 2. Anyway, because you want that bacon grease in the pan. And then you take the asparagus out. That goes on a separate pan, and that goes in the oven and stays warm. Okay, after the bacon is cooked on all sides. That goes in the oven. Ken right now is going, church? Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're doing it. I know what I'm doing. Because then you want that bacon grease in the pan when you throw the butter in before you cook your steak. When you brown your butter in bacon grease and then your steak hits it and everything is proper and correct, it's the most insane thing that you can ever do. But it takes practice. It takes practice. So, Ken, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on my Taco Bell Taco Supreme recipe, my Taco Bell Mexican pizza recipe. I'm getting good. Now it's also the salsa, which is also crucial on both of those. And my iron skillet magic. Thank you for that, Ken. You make things easy. Let's see. I have no idea what this is. Curtis Mullen. Do you find it odd, to say the least, that the airplanes and choppers, etc., did not get in the air to help out to put out these fires? Or no, you weren't out here, dude. It was hurricane force winds, 100-mile-per-hour winds with flaming lava embers this big blowing through. What, are you out of your mind? Yeah, get those embers stuck in the jet engine intake on a chopper or a water dropping jet. Yeah, that's smart. 100-mile-per-hour winds. No, I'm not. Have you ever seen a reporter doing the live newscast from the hurricane zone in Miami? We've all seen it. Hair blowing out to the side, hanging on to a sign. So we're out here, and you're like, man, dude, and they all do it. They want the shot, right, for their reel so they can make it onto CNN or make it out to LA so they can be on KTLA, KCAL News at 9. That's the wind that was going. You don't see helicopters during a hurricane, do you? No. So no, I'm not surprised at all. Right next to me is an airport. The second that they could get flying, they did. Like at the Lydia fire out here, I was standing in my front yard talking to Janet after her house burned down. I was talking to her, and I saw the first two jets take off right next to my house, take off, fly in front of my house, and then dive down into Acton while I was on the phone with her. A little late, but yeah. So the second that they could, the Hollywood fire that is burning out of control right now, which, by the way, has reached Hollywood and La Brea. Saw that during the break. Hollywood and La Brea. From that corner, my studio used to be on the opposite corner. From that corner, you can see from that corner the Jimmy Kimmel Show. It's right there. Man's Theater is across the street. You can see it. It's right there from where the fire is burning right now. Now I was watching some pretty amazing pinpointed helicopter drops going on. So there you go. So no, Curtis, no. If they could have flown, they would have. That's a fact. Third Stone Studio. Hey, Jimmy. Let's see hey, Jimmy, Triscale and I don't comment much these days, but we're always listening to the show. Just know the Steels are sending their prayers and protection for you. Thank you. Thank you for that, Third Stone. Miss you guys, Triscale. Thank you guys for that. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. I'm just looking for all caps. I make buttermilk biscuits in mine. I have 4 nice cast iron pans. Yes. 2 with ridges and 2 flats. You know what? So I've got a third. I've got a cast iron griddle pan with ridges. Yeah, I do. Panda Express is my fast food weakness. There's nothing wrong with that. Man, I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes only Panda Express will do. Wrapped in bacon is the only way I'll eat asparagus. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. What's this? Stargazer for Janet from the UK. Thank you for that. Stargazer Eternal One from the UK. I'm sorry, I didn't see that pop in. Thank you for that. I will let Janet know. Jimmy, how does the white Fender Acoustasonic guitar sound? Did the alien decal come with it? Good to see you safe. Okay, so Stella is talking about that guitar right there. And it does have, it's not an, well, it is an alien sticker. See if I can do this with my headphones on. All right, got it. It is an alien sticker. Still has the Fender sticker on the back. But no, this is wood. It's a wood sticker and laser cut with the eyes. So that's wood on wood. That's why it's on this guitar. But and yeah, it's out of tune. It's out of tune. Out of tune. But the guitar itself sounds really, really good. What's cool about this guitar is there is a mix knob. So it's got an acoustic pickup and this single coil Strat pickup, and you can blend between the two. That is what's great about this guitar. So it's out of tune right now, so I'm not going to play it. All right. Did the alien decal come with it? I forget who made that. Somebody made that for me. I just can't remember. I've got a couple. I've got a few. I've got some extra ones. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Yeah, 100 miles an hour. Yeah, it was that windy. What new country are you planning on visiting in 25 or 26? Easter Island is next up. That trip is being planned right now. And 2025 is booked up. So that's it. There's no more new things. That's it. 2025 is booked up between now and December. Completely slammed. I've got something every single month to the end of 2025. But 2026, I think it's April of 2026, I'm going to Easter Island. So, yes, I am very much looking forward to that. Moina, thank you so much. Moina, are you coming out for Conscious Life Expo? My lovely, are you coming out? Moina's the best. Thank you for that, Moina. Very, very cool. And I see, I can't post Moina just, yeah. Thank you for that, Moina. Are you coming to Conscious Life Expo? Man, her and I had a lot of fun. There's Stargazer. Thank you. Oh, maybe I can do this another way. Yeah, now I am the old man that I was complaining about earlier. What's in a month? March. Yeah. January, February, March. Sedona, Arizona. Melinda Leslie. Yeah, March 29th, 28th and 29th. Sedona, Arizona. So, Kim, you're going to that, right? And if you are going, I will introduce you to Melinda, and you two can go and talk about everything that she's working on. I'll get you all set up for that. All right, Kim? Here's Moina right there. Check her out. Do you know? I want you guys to look at Moina. Look at her picture. All right. Now I'm going to throw Moina under the bus. Moina is 50 years old. Moina has 26 grandchildren. Do the math. Moina, you're the best. Moina and I messed with so many people. Yeah, so there you go. Have you ever been to Serpent's Mound? I have driven past it. I haven't stopped. And the guilt is still not, and I had the opportunity twice. I was like, man, I'll check it out later, man. I'll do it. And yeah, and it just got past me. What overdrive pedal are you saving from the fire? Here's the good news. I don't use an overdrive pedal. Nope. Straight into the amp. Now, so I've got 2 amps sitting right there, right? Okay, got a Marshall and a Fender Twin. Down the hall in the studio, I've got a half stack with a Eddie Van Halen 5153 on the top. Straight in. In my in the family room next to the fireplace, I've got a little orange cabinet with a Joyo tube head. I think that's what it is. A little practice setup in there. That's it. Straight in, straight in, straight in, straight in, straight in. And now each one, the Joyo and the Eddie Van Halen in the back, I have a TC Electronics reverb pedal that is in the effects loop. Okay, on those. But with the Fender and the Marshall that are in here, those both have reverb on it. That's all I need. I don't need delay. I don't need overdrive. No, I don't like pedals. So there you go. I wouldn't have the need. Leland Sklar posted earlier today that he was getting very high winds. That dude is one of the most amazing bass players in the history of the world. Tube amps, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. All tubes all day long. Tube amps with Variac. No Variacs. Variacs back in the day scared me. Okay, they were a big mystery to everybody, right? And there were a lot of people that were blowing shit up with them too as well. So they always kind of scared me, and I never really even knew where to get one or what they were. Now today there are different things that you can buy and aftermarket stuff. But to use a Variac correctly, you know what? You got to live out in the country. You've got to have neighbors that live miles away, because you've got a 50 or 100 watt Marshall that you're running wide open on 10. So you can use the Variac to crank down those master tubes, and yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, for sure. Janet just texted me. Hold on. See how she's doing. Oh, this is great news. Okay. Janet says, so my house got burned and windows blew out, but it didn't burn to the ground. It wrapped all the way around the property, but literally stopped at the structure. Some parts got scorched and completely filled with smoke, but it is still standing. Janet, there you go. That's great news. That's great news. That is great. God, I feel so much better, man. I mean, I was wrecked. Earthquaker Devices make some awesome pedals. There's a lot of great pedal makers out there. Jimmy, favorite era of Elvis? All of them. I just picked up a Seymour Duncan convertible combo. Yeah, those look fun. And so do the Paul Reed Smiths. Those look pretty cool too as well. I got the EVH 5153, 15 watt. They call it a lunchbox. So Fender sent me that, and it sounds amazing. I have got here in the house, I said this the other day, and I really mean it. I need another 15-watt amp like I need a hole in the head. I have 15-watt amps in the garage that will never be turned on again. They sound great, but how many do you need? How many do you need? I've literally, what, am I going to put one in each bathroom? I've got one in the family room. I've got one in the rehearsal studio, and I've got 2 in here. It's like the perfect ideal. When I was 20 years old, 19, 18, struggling about getting a second guitar. Okay. Right. Or do I get another? Or do I do this? Or do I, struggling and never quite got to the second guitar stage. You do later on in life. But to be in this position that I'm in now, where I've got amps that I don't play, I've got guitars that I don't have the time to touch. I mean, that Jeff Beck Jackson sitting right there. I haven't touched that guitar in a year. Fucking pathetic. The Ibanez right next to it. It's RG 550 right there. I haven't touched that guitar. That RG 550, 2 red RG 550 sitting in this studio. They haven't been touched. I should be shot. That PRS sitting behind me right there. I don't have the time. Some get played more than others. That RG down there gets played. Yeah. That Kramer, that white one, that gets played. Yeah, it does. The Vi right here, this blue one, that gem, that gets played. They do. They get played. But it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Ghost box noise reduction. I love that. I love that. I'm scrolling. I'm just looking for all caps here. And give them to some kid, Jimmy. No, they're going to my daughter. That's the kid they're going to. My daughter gets everything. I feel bad. I do. I feel bad. My daughter is going to have. I know it's not morose. It's like reality of the situation. I am going to have to make sure, some are already done, but that every guitar gets a piece of tape on it with its name, and then a piece of tape goes on a case with its name, so she knows what case what guitar goes into. That's a lot of work, man. It's 100 cases at least, right? And to sort through all of that and to know, man, and I'm gonna have to give her the value of everything, and what does she want to keep? What does she want to sell? I don't know, but she gets everything. Wonder what she's going to do with my YouTube channel. These are things you have to think about. Yeah, he should. Wouldn't it be cool if my daughter kept Fade to Black going and she was the host? I don't give a shit. Keep the channel going. You're going to have everything. You're going to have the passwords to everything. Yeah. The website, everything, all the podcast accounts. Man, the social media footprint that is here that could just be, well, it is going to be gifted to her. She should take advantage of that. It'll be a show about putting on makeup. So, you know what my daughter got me for Christmas? I'm going to throw her under the bus. Do you guys want to know? I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. I'm going to scroll to the bottom. Okay. I want you guys to answer me. Do you want to know what my daughter got me for Christmas? Sure. That's for Moina. Yeah, of course, Moina, you want to know. Do you want to know what my daughter got me for Christmas? Yes, 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 yes. Wow. Okay. You ready? I haven't used it yet, though. Under eye cream. And I was like, what are you, what are you saying? Now, that's what she, she's really good at what she does, and I know it's probably, it's not an under eye cream. Well, yeah, let's just go with that under eye cream. It's some space age, probably some expensive thing, made out of Lord knows what. But anyway, yeah, now I'm happy. Now, I would never buy that for myself. I wouldn't even know what to do. I would never ask anybody, hey, man, what should I get? Is there a special, what do you, no, you don't, especially men. You just don't do that. And, yeah, under eye cream. That's true love, Jimmy. I know, right? And so I unbox it. It was like from Sephora, I think. Am I saying it right? And so I'm looking and I'm thinking, this is the coolest thing ever. Now, obviously, she's telling me something. She's telling me that I need it, but she's also saying, just be your best. And I want you to be your best. And this is how you do it. So yeah, you don't need it, Jimmy, but your daughter watches those late night infomercials. Jimmy got Particle 9 from his daughter. Is that what it is? Is that what it's called? Particle 9 is a face cream. I can go get it. It's in there. Yeah. I haven't. And she goes, no, Dad, you can't wear this out in the sunlight. You got to put it on at night. So yeah. Yeah. And I think she said, it's great for under eyes, but you can also, I said, oh, my whole face? She's like, yeah. All right. What's that red guitar on your left? Is the neck extra long? Red guitar on my left. That guitar, this one, that's one of George Lynch's guitars. I mean, like, not one of his models. That's one of George's guitars. That one right there. That's an ESP custom shop Horizon. Yeah. That's a very, very special guitar. It's a hollow solid body. Yeah. There's only one in the world. That's a beautiful guitar. It's a beautiful, I think you're talking about this one. So, yeah. That's a one of a kind right there. ESP Horizon. Boom. Yeah, there's only one. This was built, look how thick it is. It's a hollow body. This guitar was made in 1996, I think. 1996, so it's 30 years old. Beautiful, isn't it? One of a kind. And how do you know it's George's? Well, it's one of George's pickups, number one. But no pickup selector. There's two pickups. Pickup selector is here. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Isn't it beautiful? That's a crazy guitar. You know how special that guitar is? All right. It is so special that if you've noticed, I want everybody out there in the guitar world to understand what I'm about to say. this guitar has never had a guitar strap put on it. There's no strap holes. It's never been drilled for it. Nope. And so I have a choice, right? I can put them on. One goes here, right? One goes here. Or do I just leave it? Yeah. That's how rare this guitar is. There are people out there. You can't even put a value on that guitar. You can't. It's like stratosphere shit. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Where did you get that? There's only one way you get a guitar like that, my man. There's only one way to get a guitar like that. Okay, then, which amp are you saving from the fire? None of them. I don't give a shit. Man, I've cussed a lot tonight. You can tell how upset I am. Amps can be replaced. There's a couple of guitars. There's a lot of guitars in here that can't be. But you can't save them all. You know, whatever. But there are a couple that are just near and dear to me that, you know, and there's a story behind them. That's all. And that's why one of the Les Pauls, I did. One of those very special Les Pauls, a very special one. It's not one of these in here. It's another one. All right. Somebody just said earlier, 100 cases. Yeah. 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 You should see my garage. I have 3 guest bedrooms here. The closets full of cases, all of them. Big tub, just stuffed with cases. 3 bedrooms full. And then the garage, it's like, it's out of control. Then I have a storage unit too as well, where I keep what I call the finery. Yeah, the finery is off-site. Yeah. There's a reason for that. Okay. Watching any good episodic TV. Watching any good episodic TV. What have you know, Silo watching? Silo, I'm watching. Yeah, Severance is getting ready to come back on. I mean, some of the best episodic TV to me. Now, Silo's really good, and there's a couple of other newer things that are on that are okay. I really liked From. That's really good. But when you have shows like The Expanse, Orville is supposed to be coming back next year, but The Expanse is so good that when something new comes on, how good does it have to be? You know what I mean? How good to top that? I mean, The Expanse is that good. You know, so yeah, for me to be moved by a TV show where I go, wow, it's got to be like The Expanse. Now, movie wise, I've seen a few cool things lately, but I'm going to be honest. When you go back and rewatch like The Arrival or Interstellar, both newer movies, but that are so great, you know. Now, 3 Body Problem, yeah, that was up there. both versions, the Chinese version and the Netflix version, are both really good. So I really enjoyed that. And if you haven't checked it out, do that. But okay. I want to thank everybody. Like I said, I haven't heard from Whitley, and he hasn't texted me either. So there you go. I'll see everybody here tomorrow night. We've got Serena Wright Taylor is going to be with us, and so is Christine Augustin, and we are going to be doing our annual, which we have done this for years and years and years, our annual Conscious Life Expo preview special. We're going to be doing that tomorrow night. And so I'll see everybody here. I've got to go and do what everybody else is doing around the country and check out what is going on in Southern California and see where things are tomorrow morning when I wake up. But I'll see everybody for the news tomorrow. Until then, go Backley Tappy.
Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go Backley Tappy.